Well, good morning, everyone. We're here to talk about Taijiquan, specifically the state of Taijiquan in the world today, how it fits into the world of mixed martial arts, and all the things happening around it. So I have Darren here. He's going to ask me a few questions off camera. We're going to try and give some opinions.
Okay, so the first question is what would you do? The most earnest seeker of martial arts knowledge comes up to you and says, why is it what you do and how you move? Why is that right? Why is that more authentic and closer to the historical intent of Tai Chi compared to a more performance based appreciation of the art?
Well, I think basically what we're talking about here is internal, external. So, for instance, if your goal is to do snake creeps down so that you meet a standard set of criteria imposed from you from the outside, so your stance is so low, your crutch is touching the ground, and all the other rules that might be governing that particular posture, if that is your goal, rather than your goal being your energy flowing fluidly through your body, um, a knowledge of the martial application so that you can perform that movement correctly from a health perspective, because they both go together. There's the yin and the yang. You can't really achieve one without the other. Otherwise, what you're doing is a pleasant dance that will probably give you some benefits for a while, but ultimately will not take you down the martial path, the health path, or the spiritual path that the full system of Tai Chi Chuan can actually offer you. So does that answer your question, do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty good because that would lead me to the next question in what is it that you recognized in your experience of those different levels of engagements, the martial and the healing and the spiritual? Yeah,
What is it that I recognise?
yeah. What is it you recognized in your experience, like of those different levels?
Okay. I think if you're on an internal path, you have a kind of progression that looks like a spiral. So you empty yourself of all the obstructions that are preventing you from flowing freely, from flowing freely in your martial technique, from flowing freely in your life, from flowing freely in your form. And a great part of that is acquiring a still mind set, very much like Zen, where the internal dialogue becomes quieter or stiller, or you can push it to the background initially, is probably a big achievement in itself. So the whole way you gauge your progress is multifaceted, it's multidimensional, and it's certainly not restricted to being able to perform a technique in a way that meets some external criteria. It's much deeper than that. It's much more holistic than that.
Okay. So, what do you think of the Tai Chi master that got beaten up by the MMA guy? Like, what is he missing? There seems to be much more at play than that external judgment or that external structure. You know, why is your single whip better than his single whip?
I don't know if you could say my single whip is better than his single whip, but I could say that my single whip perhaps is more informed, perhaps more realistic in a martial context. I think, first of all, I think about that particular incident is that he should not have jumped in the ring at all. Because I'm just going to play it completely straight here. I think a lot of Tai Chi masters are deluded that they're magical techniques are somehow going to work out there in the street or against an experienced MMA fighter. If I see one more martial demonstration where someone's doing slant flying, I'll go crazy. If I see one more martial arts demonstration where someone comes up and grabs the teacher's wrists and gets thrown to the ground, I think I might throw up, because it's giving Tai Chi such a bad name. I think what's happened is that gradually the martial side of Tai Chi has been diminished. People mistake training techniques for martial techniques, and they just don't have a full knowledge of the martial side of Taijiquan. So, on the other hand, I don't think you can say because a martial arts practitioner jumps in the ring with an MMA fighter and gets defeated that somehow diminishes Tai Chi or any other martial art that might happen to. Because MMA fighters train to get in the ring and fight 3-minute rounds, and in a particular way, in a particular scenario. Whereas we're interested in, first of all, protecting our health. We're interested in protecting ourselves. So the way we use martial arts is purely as a rapid response, self-defense, to pull ourselves out of a threatening situation, to pull ourselves out of a life-threatening situation, or preferably to detect that situation before it actually arises. And I think the other thing that MMA people should be aware of is that not everyone wants to risk their joint health, their body health. They don't want to risk injury. They don't want to be smashed in the face or thrown on the ground. They want to live a happy, healthy, balanced life. They want to develop themselves as people. And I don't think that can be diminished. I think that's a pretty fantastic goal, and should be encouraged and should not be denigrated in itself. But at the same time, Tai Chi practitioners have to be aware that their art has just fallen backwards from a martial art point of view. They've got to stop deluding themselves, because they can convince certain people of what they're doing. It doesn't actually prove what they're doing is valid self-defense discipline. So I think on both sides of the fence, we have kind of a bit more to learn and to understand. And then hopefully we'll all end up more balanced in our view and the way we live our lives.